Hey, this is John Bollinger with Premier Guitar. Today we're looking at the brand new Supro Royale, the Royale with cheese. So before we get into this thing, take a second and subscribe below. That way we can keep you up to date on all the cool gear coming your way. Okay, so think of the Royale as a very clean platform, great for pedals or great by itself, giving you a combination of classic old school Supro kind of sounds, as well as a more kind of California, dare I say, Fendery, black panel kind of sound. Across the top, here's what it is. You got a master volume and a master boost. Now the boost can be operated with a pedal, which I've got right here. I'm sure we all have something like this laying around, so this is one, but anything any quarter-inch changer will control that. Next, we have 3 toggles, one for the boost, another one for the Verb, which is lush, we'll get into, and the third is for the loop, and we'll get into that. Then we have a 3-band EQ, treble, mid, and bass. Then we have, for the reverb, we have level and dwell, and then a master volume. And the final ingredient, which I think is my favorite, is you can switch between class AB or class A. Now in AB, that's where I came in, that's 50 watts, and it's got that kind of Fendery thing to it. They describe it as more scooped mid-range, tighter bass, and faster transient response. Whereas the class A, which is 35 watts, is a traditional cathode-based Supro sound with a bold, spongy mid-range. So why don't we kind of go through it one bit at a time. For the record, this is my I'm just plugging straight in right now. This is my 1961 Gibson ES355, and it's all stock. A little bit later, I'll play my old Fender thin line. I can't remember. It's something in the 70s, 70 something. Whoops, there we go. Don't want to drop it. And I'm not using any effects, but we'll try a few pedals later on just so you can see how it handles them. So the 3-band EQ, right, coming in, I'm basically flat. Mids are just down a tiny bit, but I will tweak it differently for the Telecaster. But what I want to talk right now is the reverb. So this is a tube-driven Verb, and it's lush. And what I really like about it is not only do you have a level control, but you have a dwell. Now dwell, kind of, I guess the best way to describe it is how long it rings. So I've got the level pretty low. It's at, I guess, about 9 o'clock. That's where we are right there. And let me bring it up a little bit more. When I've got the dwell almost at noon. So the level's low, but the dwell's hanging out long. So it's kind of, right? Let me crank that dwell way up. See, it just rings forever like that. If we bring the level up, let me bring that dwell down a little. That's with the level up and the dwell down. And I just like the fact that you can tweak it to taste. Also, you'll notice right now my master's up at about noon, and my volume is about noon as well. But as I turn up that volume, the verb gets more intense, as they do. So, but it's got all that classic verby sound. So, great verb, let's move on. So the toggle right next to that is the effects loop. And I've just got one of my favorite delays in it, this Ibanez Echo Shifter. But the cool thing about this effects loop, number one, I like delays through an effects loop. You can control it either by flipping the switch or do it remotely with a pedal of your choice. So here we are, I'm gonna bring the volume, I'm gonna bring down the verb a bit so we can kind of highlight this. So there we are. Now when we engage it, give you a little bit more of that. I like the way it handles effects like that. So here's what else is cool about this effects loop. When I unplug my effects from that, so there's nothing in it, it's still, when you run your guitar, when you turn on the effects loop, you're getting this tube-driven buffered thing in your signal, and I like the way it sounds. So here we are. This is just straight in, and here's with the loop engaged. To me, it gives you just a little bit more. It's almost like to me, it's got a little, it almost feels like a little bit of a compression is running in front of it. Anyway, I like that. I like that. And even if I'm running my pedals in front of it, which I normally would do, I still get like a little hidden Easter egg in there. So very cool. Okay, so speaking of toggles, the other toggle right next to that is the boost. And you have a single volume control that lets you dial in how much you want. And you can control it with the toggle or with, like I said, just a pedal of your choice, on off. So here it is without, here it is with. Now I've just got a little bit on there, but you can really, what I like about that, you can put in just what you want for a solo boost. And that's how I would use this. In the heat of battle, I tend to just run my guitar wide open anyway. That's where it ends up. I don't mean to, but I inevitably want more, and it ends up being on full blast all the time. So I love the fact that with my feet, I can just give it a couple dB, whatever I want, and drown out a drummer if I need to. Just get a little bit louder. So that's a cool feature. Across the top, the 3-band EQ, I think there's a lot of bottom end on this amp, so I like the fact you can dial it back. Let me bring that back a little. Makes it just pop out a little bit more. It's really a season to taste kind of situation, but there's enough room in this EQ to give you way more mids than you want, way more bottom end than you want. So it's great that you have the option of putting in whatever you want. My personal taste is kind of run the mids back a little bit, the bass back a little bit, and treble up a little bit. Speaking of treble up a little bit, why don't we try the Telecaster? So here's the Telecaster, and we're just going to use the same settings we had before. just a good classic kind of Tele sound. Now for funsies, let's try this. Let's turn up this volume and see how dirty it will get. I'm just gonna put that volume all the way up, and I'm going to give it a little more there. Let's see what we get. Bring down our verb. Now I really like that kind of tone. To me, it's just on the edge. Feels a little bit like an old deluxe, just really pushed. Not dirty yet, but like it's going to get dirty. And then when I engage the boost, to me, that's a very kind of Keith Richards-y kind of thing. Now, if we put in the loop too, let's see. That's a lot of tubey goodness. Speaking of tubes, here's what we're running. There are 3 12AX7s, 1 12AT7, and 1 12DW7. And then for power tubes, you have 2 5881s. So I think you can really kind of hear that tubiness. And more importantly, it kind of feels like it. You sort of feel it when you perform with it. Now, up to this point, we have been on the class AB. But let's go ahead and flip it over without changing anything. And it's clever the way they do it. Basically, the standby switch, you have to hit standby when you go between the two, which I think is better for the amp. And it's like there's kind of a multi-purpose on one switch. So, okay, here we're in standby, and here we are, class A. Man, it's hard to choose, right? I like them both. More than anything, I like the fact we got that option. Okay, and here it is with the boost off. Man, that is a lot of tones in one amp. So I was saying this is a great clean platform. Let's go ahead and put some pedals in front of it and see what it sounds like. This is a True Tone open road overdrive. Now, this is without it. And the overdrive is basically flat. But I think that's a really good platform. It doesn't sound artificial to me. It just sounds like a tube amp working really hard. A little compression. This is an old Boss compressor. Wakes it up a little bit. Right? Here's an Electro-Harmonix Canyon delay. So again, love that they have the effects loop, but in front of it, those all sound great. The final ingredient that I like about it is just this old school aesthetic. I love the way it looks like my grandma's hi-fi. You have a poplar cabinet, no particle board, this vintage inspired black Tolex, a hemp grill cloth, which is cool. The speaker is a custom Supro speaker, and I don't know what to compare it to because I haven't heard this speaker in other amps, but man, I think it sounds great right here. Comes in about 45 pounds and costs $1,500. So for a grab and go combo, this is a really good tool for, definitely loud enough for gigging, and a cool studio tool because you're getting a lot of different, basically 2 amps in one between the A, B, and the Class A. So good on you, Supro. Love your work, love what you're doing. So y'all make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. To read the full written review, go to the Premier Guitar site or have the magazine sent right to your house the way I do. This is John Bollinger. Till next time.